Monarchy is defined as the rule by a single person, as explained by the writer and theologian Tertullian in his treatise against Praxeas. He states, "If I have gathered any understanding of the term monarchy, it signifies nothing other than the rule of one single person. In the Holy Scriptures, God is portrayed as King and Lord in both the New and Old Testaments. The doctrine of the Trinity eventually supplanted monarchian theology, which asserted the sole divine rule of God and aligned with the monotheism of the Hebrew faith. Its original perspective, once widely accepted by early Christians, Monarchians, emphasized the monarchy of God, as reflected in statements such as, "There is no other God but Jesus Christ, and we hold to the monarchy. Monarchian tenemus."
Zephyrinus inherited from Victor a Rome buzzing with controversy. The Monarchians, those who insisted on the absolute unity of God at the expense of the distinct persons of the Trinity, were gaining ground. Notice of Smyrna had arrived earlier, preaching that the Father himself had become incarnate in Christ, a modalism that blurred the lines between divine persons and risked reducing the Son to a mere mask of the Father. Praxeas, a sharp-minded lawyer from Asia Minor, echoed this in Rome, decrying the emerging Trinitarian language as tritheism, three gods in disguise. Tertullian, that brilliant but prickly North African, would later skewer Praxeas in his treatise, but not before the error had infected the capital. Then there were the Valentinians, disciples of the Alexandrian Gnostic Valentinus, who spun elaborate cosmologies of emanations and aeons, positing a demiurge, a lesser god, as the creator of the material world, trapping divine sparks in human flesh. Their rites, laced with secret knowledge and ascetic excesses, appealed to the intellectually curious but eroded the simplicity of the apostolic faith. And lurking in the shadows were the Montanists, that prophetic movement from Phrygia, led by Montanus, Prisca, and Maximilla, who claimed new revelations and an imminent parousia, urging rigorous purity and ecstatic speech. Proclus, a Montanist emissary, had stirred the pot in Rome, drawing followers with promises of divine immediacy. Against this cacophony, Zephyrinus stood as the guardian of orthodoxy, not with thunderous treatises, but with the quiet authority of tradition. Eusebius, that meticulous chronicler of the Church's first centuries, praises him as the principal defender of the divinity of Christ. He excommunicated the Theodosians, followers of Theodotus the Tanner and his successor the Cobbler, who revived the adoptionist heresy, claiming Christ was a mere man empowered at his baptism or resurrection. Zephyrinus's interventions were firm.
Third is that Pliny noted that they sang to Christ as to a god. As a polytheistic Roman, he didn't write like a monotheist, so he phrased it as a god. But even so, he recognized that believers worship Christ as divine, not a mere man.
Jesus is God.
This makes his testimony very early evidence for the church's belief in the deity of Christ.
As you can see here, it's on the screen. It says, the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, but you notice this is not. So what the Trinitarian belief is, the Father is not the Son is not the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is not the Father. Now I'm going to ask a question about this one here. But as you can see, all of them are God. And I find it intriguing when I talk to Trinitarians and ask them to explain to me this belief that they can all be centered to God, but yet they're not each of these. And they tell me there are three distinct persons in. And I've asked Trinitarians, please explain that to me. How can they be separate but the same? And usually it gets down to the point of basically saying, well, it's not meant to be understood. Well, I know God to be not the author of confusion, so I think it is meant to be understood.